Hello and welcome. This is McGoobage. My name is Andy and this is a fairly new YouTube channel. For those of you that have seen my channel before, you would have seen that I did 2 playthrough series last season and got sacked twice in non-league. I'm useless with tactics. The thing is, I know there are plenty of people out there that also are. You're a bit like me, you struggle. So, I've been on the community forums, I've been around different websites, and I'm going to put together a tactical experiment. Now this experiment will be 4 of the most popular tactics tested with every single Premier League team, starting with the top 6 this week and then moving forward to the rest of the Premier League, just to see how effective they actually are. Now there are 2 types of people that play Football Manager in my view. It's those that have the time to create and develop their own tactics, and there are those that don't have the time, that would love to have the time to develop their own tactics but need to play the game for an hour or a couple of hours a day or a couple of hours a week. They just want to download a popular one and give it a whirl. Hopefully these videos will give you a bit of a guide as to what tactics work with each team to help get me started. Let's get straight into it. Tactic number 1 is by Knap, who's a popular poster on the forums, the SI community forums, and it's the 4-2-3-1 Beowulf. There's plenty of different versions on here. He tests I think on FM Touch and things like that. It's the Giraffin version that we're going to be using. That is tactic number 1. That's a 4-2-3-1 formation. I'll go into it when we get into the game, but that's tactic number 1. Tactic number 2 is by Fuss, Minimal Fuss, Fastidious I should say. Again, a regular poster. He's a regular poster on this particular forum, and I'm using the stable version 2. So all the links to the tactics will be in the description. Minimal Fuss, Fastidious, version 2, the 4-1-2-2-1 formation. Tactic number 3 is by Rossler, who is another brilliant technician, and he's a regular poster on the forums. His is the Steadfast, a flat 4-1-4-1 formation. Very, very popular, and again he has a lot of success with his tactics. This will be implemented as tactic number 3. Tactic number 4 will be Jamie's 4-2-3-1 Attacking Catenaccio with set pieces. This is a very popular tactic on his Twitch channel, and this is going to be tactic number 4. Hello and welcome, I am McGoobage and this is my testing tactics series. We're at the penultimate team now of all 20 of the Premier League teams. This is West Ham today. If you've not seen any one of my videos before, basically we're taking 4 of the most popular tactics on the SI community forums. We're playing each Premier League team with each tactic throughout the first season on holiday. The staff take over everything. They take over everything from training, contracts. The team selection, I asked them to try and stick to the team selection and the tactics as much as possible. Apart from that, we go on holiday and we come back at the end of the season and see what happens. Also, we pick the players based on their ability ratings as per the game. So in some cases the players won't be natural in their positions, but they are the strongest players, and for consistency through all 20 of these videos we're doing the same thing, just to see what happens. So let's get started. West Ham. Tactic number 1 is Beowulf by Knap, I should say. It's the 4-2-3-1 wide Tippler set tick-a-tacker tactic. Try saying that after a few drinks. It's attacking, so in possession it's shorter passing, you pass into space, play out of defence, low crosses, run at defence and work the ball into the box. You overlap left and right, so you're asking your fullbacks to overlap with slightly lower tempo. Transition, you're taking short kicks and distribute to fullbacks. Counter and counter press. And out of possession you defend narrower with a higher defensive line, a much higher line of engagement. It's extremely urgent, you prevent the short goalkeeper distribution, you get stuck in using tighter marking and use of the offside trap. So, Fabianski is the goalkeeper in goal and defend. Wingbacks Cresswell and Zabaleta on attack. Diop and Balbuena are the 2 ball-playing defenders on defend. Jack Wilshere's deep line playmaker on support, with Sanchez box-to-box midfield on support. Felipe Anderson and Yarmolenko, the inside forwards, on support. Lanzini, the attacking midfield on attack. Arnautovic, the advanced forward, on attack. Again, strongest players, which is why they're playing. Let's see how this plays out. So, West Ham finished 8th in the first season. 18 wins from 38 games, 7 draws and 13 defeats. 3 points off of a Europa League place, which is a good performance from West Ham. Liverpool won the league. Man City was second, Chelsea third and Tottenham fourth, with Man United, Arsenal and Watford in 7th place. Let's look at the schedule. So, Premier League, they started off with a draw against Huddersfield and then a defeat to Liverpool and Southampton, which wasn't good. Beat Fulham, EFL Cup second round. They beat Everton, lost to Watford, and then drew with Brighton in the Premier League before being beaten by Everton in the EFL Cup third round. Then beat Chelsea, drew with Man City, beat Cardiff and beat Fulham, which is good. 4 games unbeaten. Then November there was no victories. Lost to Man United Premier League, lost to Crystal Palace and lost to Burnley. December now, mixed and varied results. They beat Newcastle, thumped by Arsenal 7-2, beat Tottenham, lost to Leicester and Huddersfield, but picked up again and beat Bournemouth and Wolves. So into the new year now, lost to Liverpool, beat Rochdale FA Cup third round, then beat Southampton Premier League, lost to Everton, beat Sheffield United 5-1 FA Cup fourth round, and then beat Watford Premier League. Into February, drew with Brighton, thumped by Chelsea Premier League, then lost to Man United FA Cup 5th round. Then they finished off February by beating Cardiff 4-0 in the Premier League. Now, from March to the end of the season, there's only 2 defeats, plenty of victories and only 2 draws. So they started off in March beating Fulham in the Premier League, lost to Man City, beat Man United, beat Crystal Palace, drew with Burnley. April they beat Newcastle, drew with Arsenal, beat Tottenham, beat Leicester, beat Wolves and lost the last game of the season to Bournemouth, which is maybe the one that prevented them from being up there in the Europa League positions. And if you see in this game, 2 players sent off. So player performance wise, let's have a look. Average ratings. Now we're taking players that played majority of the season here. So Felipe Anderson 7.20, Issa Diop 7.13, Creswell 7.11, Wilshere 7.05 and Fabianski 7.03. Goals, Arnautovic 19 from 43 and 2 assists, Yarmolenko 11 from 43 and 4, Felipe Anderson 9 from 33 and 7, Jack Wilshere 5 from 39 and 8 assists. So it's not too bad. As I say, it's a good performance. 8th place for West Ham. Tactic number 1. So it's tactic number 2, and it's Minimal Fuss's fastidious tactic. It's the 4-1-4-1 DM wide. It's a positive mentality, and it's the tactic with the least instruction. So in possession, you're short of passing, play out of defence, work the ball into the box, lower tempo and waste time. Transition, you're rolling it out, distributing to the fullbacks. Counter and counter press. And out of possession, it's a high defensive line, prevent the short goalkeeper distribution, and use of the offside trap. So in this one, excuse the breath, I'm getting all myself all excited. Fabianski is a sweeper keeper on defend. Your wing backs are on support, Creswell and Zabaleta, with your 2 centre backs on defend this time, Diop and Balbuena. Sanchez reverts to a defensive midfielder on defend. Obiang drops in to be a box-to-box midfielder on support, with Wilshere, Mazzala on attack. Felipe Anderson and Yarmolenko remain as the inside forwards on support. Arnautovic deep line forward on attack. Let's see how this plays out. So West Ham finished 8th. Again, this time they were 8 points off of the Europa League places. 38 games, 15 wins, 13 draws and 10 defeats. Liverpool won the league, Man City 2nd, Chelsea 3rd, Arsenal 4th, Crystal Palace 5th, Tottenham 6th and Man United 7th. Let's have a look at the schedule. So, started off by beating the Huddersfield Premier League, lost to Liverpool, beat Southampton. Beat Bristol City on penalties, EFL Cup 2nd round. Beat Everton Premier League, lost to Watford, beat Brighton, beat Burnley, EFL Cup 3rd round, then lost to Chelsea. October, an unbeaten month. They drew with Man City, beat Cardiff, drew with Fulham and then beat Tottenham, EFL Cup 4th round, which will please the West Ham fans. November, beat Man United, lost to Crystal Palace but beat Burnley. And then look at this run. You've got a run of 3, 6, 8, 10, 12 games here without defeat, which is outstanding. So, start December by beating Newcastle, Drew with Arsenal, drew with Tottenham. Beat Leicester, Premier League. Beat Fulham, EFL Cup quarter-final. Drew with Huddersfield, beat Bournemouth and beat Wolves. Into January they drew with Liverpool, drew with Leicester, FA Cup third round. Drew with Arsenal, EFL Cup semi-final first leg 3-3. Drew with Southampton Premier League, lost the third round FA Cup replay to Leicester. Lost to Everton and then lost to Arsenal, EFL Cup semi-final. Drew with Watford then. And then February, beat Brighton Premier League, lost to Chelsea and Man City, beat Cardiff. Unbeaten month in March, they drew with Fulham, beat Man United, drew with Palace and Burnley. And then April, no victories. They lost to Newcastle, drew with Arsenal, lost to Tottenham and Leicester, but then picked up the last two games by beating Wolves and drew with Bournemouth. So you can see where they dropped points in the run-in. The last 6 games there, last 2 in March and April is where they lost their points. But they still finished 8th. Good performance. Let's have a look at the player ratings. Again, the ones that played the majority of the season. So Diop, 7.18. Creswell, 7.11. Balbuena, 6.99. Fabianski, 6.97. And Anderson, 6.96. Goals. Yarmolenko, 10 from 46 and 6 assists with Anderson, 8 from 41 and 11 assists. Now there's someone missing here. Let's have a look. Let's have a look here who's gone. I think we all know who's gone. Transfer history. Arnautovic has gone to Man United in January for 42.5 million. That's where the goals have disappeared, but still a good performance. That's tactic number 2. Okay, so tactic 3 is Rossler's Steadfast 4-1-4-1 version 2. It's a 4-1-4-1 DM formation. It is attacking, even though it looks defensive. So in possession, it's shorter passing, passing to space, play out of defence, low crosses, run at defence, work the ball into the box. But in this one, you focus play for the middle of the pitch. Transition, you take short kicks, counter and counter press. And out of possession, you defend narrower, high defensive line and line of engagement. It's extremely urgent. You prevent the short goalkeeper distribution and use of the offside trap. So Fabianski is a sweeper keeper on defending goal. Your wing-backs are complete wing-backs on attack. Creswell and Zabaleta. Diop and Balbuena are your centre-backs on defend. Mark Noble's the half-back on defend. Felipe Anderson and Yarmolenko are wide midfielders on attack. 2 box-to-box midfielders on support, Sanchez and Wilshere, with Arnautovic as the false 9 up front. On support, let's see what happens. West Ham finished 6th and they qualified for the Europa League. They finished 9 points off the Champions League and 6 points behind Chelsea in 5th. Man City won it, Man United 2nd, with Liverpool and Arsenal 4th. Chelsea 5th, West Ham 6th and Bournemouth sneaked into 7th and got themselves in the Europa League. West Ham, 18 wins, 10 draws and 10 defeats, plus 26 goal difference, which is good. Let's have a look at the schedule. So, Premier League, they started off with defeat to Huddersfield away, but thumped Liverpool 5-1 at home. Then drew with Southampton. Beat Scunthorpe, EFL Cup second round. Beat Everton Premier League, lost to Watford and beat Brighton. Beat Leicester, EFL Cup third round. Beat Chelsea Premier League. Beat Man City Premier League. That's Liverpool, Chelsea and Man City already beaten. Beat Cardiff and then beat Fulham. Lost the EFL Cup fourth round. So it was a good run of results there. But November was a poor month. Drew with Man United. Lost to Man United. Drew with Palace, Burnley and Newcastle. So, into December, they lost to Arsenal. Beat Tottenham. Drew with Leicester. Beat Huddersfield. Lost to Bournemouth and then beat Wolves. And then look at this run. Another big run of results here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 games again unbeaten, which is good. 13 if you include the Wolves game. So January, drew with Liverpool Premier League. Beat Rotherham, FA Cup third round. Beat Southampton and Everton Premier League. Then beat Port Vale, FA Cup fourth round. And beat Watford Premier League. February. Beat Brighton Premier League. Drew with Chelsea. Drew with Man City, FA Cup fifth round at home. And again in the Premier League. but then beat Man City FA Cup 5th round replay. Beat Fulham in March in the Premier League, but then 3 defeats on the spin. They lost to Cardiff, Man United and Crystal Palace in the Premier League. Beat Liverpool FA Cup 6th round to go through to the semi-final. Beat Burnley in the Premier League. Drew with Newcastle. Beat Middlesbrough FA Cup semi-final 5-1 to go to the FA Cup final, West Ham. Then lost to Arsenal, lost to Tottenham and beat Leicester. And then look at this in May. Drew with Wolves in the Premier League. Beat Bournemouth, final Premier League game of the season. Beat Chelsea, FA Cup final. West Ham, FA Cup final winners, which is outstanding. And a 6th place finish, which is excellent. What a good season. So, player ratings. Let's have a look here. Anderson, 7.46. Creswell, 7.27. Yarmolenko, 7.18. Diop, 7.17. Goals. So, Anderson, 20 from 44 and 11 assists, with Arnautovic, 14 from 40 and 4. Yarmolenko weighed in with 12, 46 games and 13 assists. Carlos Sanchez, 9 from 44 and 10. What a season for West Ham. 6th and an FA Cup win. That's tactic number 3. So to the final tactic, and it's the FM Scout Catenaccio tactic. It's the 4-2-3-1 wide. Very, very similar to the first tactic, but there's a difference in how they play, which I'll explain now. So in possession, shorter passing to space, play out of defence, low crosses, work the ball into the box. You focus play down each side in this one. You're not necessarily asking your fullbacks to overlap. You're just focusing the play down each side. That's the difference between this one and the first tactic. You play with a lower tempo. In transition, distribute to fullbacks, counter and counter press. And out of possession, you defend narrow with a higher defensive line. Much higher line of engagement. Extremely urgent. Prevent the short goalkeeper distribution. You get stuck in. Using tighter marking and use of the offside trap. So Fabianski's goalkeeper on defend. Your wing backs are Creswell and Zabaleta on attack. 2 ball playing defenders, Diop and Balbuena. Sanchez and Wilshere are your midfielders. Felipe Anderson, your inside forward, with Yarmolenko the other side. Attacking midfielder Lanzini and Arnautovic the advanced forward. Let's see how this plays out. Okay, this one's not so good. So West Ham finished 11th on 44 points. 12 wins, 8 draws and 18 defeats with a -10 goal difference. They finished 19 points off of Bournemouth, who finished 7th. Man City won the league with Arsenal 2nd, United 3rd, Liverpool 4th, Everton 5th, Chelsea 6th, and as I say, Bournemouth 7th. So look at schedule. Premier League. Started off by beating Huddersfield, but then thumped by Liverpool 6-2 at home. Beat Southampton, lost to Leicester, EFL Cup 2nd round. Then in September, not a win at all this month. They lost to Everton, lost to Watford, drew with Brighton and drew with Chelsea. Lost to Man City and drew with Cardiff. That's 7 games in all competitions without a win. But they finished October by beating Everton in the Premier League. Into November, lost to Man United, beat Crystal Palace and lost to Burnley. So it's very inconsistent, as you can see. December, I say it's inconsistent with West Ham. It works with other teams as you would have seen in the videos. But for West Ham, this one's inconsistent. So December, beat Newcastle, lost to Arsenal, drew with Tottenham, lost to Leicester, but then picked up and beat Huddersfield and Bournemouth before drawing with Wolves. January, they drew with Liverpool, beat MK Dons FA Cup 3rd round, lost to Southampton and Everton Premier League, beat Man United 5-4 FA Cup 4th round, drew with Watford in the Premier League. Into February, beat Brighton, thumped by Chelsea Premier League, beat Leicester FA Cup 5th round, then thumped Cardiff Premier League 5-0. March, beat Fulham, lost to Man City, Man United and Crystal Palace in the Premier League. Beat Southampton FA Cup 6th round to go through to the semi-final. Beat Burnley Premier League. April, beat Newcastle Premier League. Then were thumped by Liverpool after extra time. And it's notable that West Ham were down to 10 men, went to extra time, and in extra time Liverpool scored 3 goals. They had Frederick sent off and Balbuena sent off. 3 players sent off West Ham. The last being in the 98th minute, and if you look, Liverpool took full advantage. Back to the Premier League, they lost to Arsenal, lost to Tottenham and Leicester, then lost to Wolves and drew with Bournemouth. So very disappointing. They got to the FA Cup semi-final, and by the looks of it, in the run in the last 5 games, it took it out of them. Player performances, again, looking at players that played majority of the season. Cresswell, 7.03. Felipe Anderson, 7.01. Fabianski, 6.97. Balbuena, 6.92. And Yarmolenko, 6.91. So you can see player performances weren't good. Goals on Arnautovic, 17 from 44, 2 assists. Yarmolenko, 9 from 42 and 6. Felipe Anderson, 9 from 40 and 10 assists. So, that's been West Ham. That's all 4 tactics, as you can see, with varying results. With number 3 being the most successful. 6th place and an FA Cup win. This has been West Ham. So that's it. That's the end of this particular tactical test. As you can see, the 4 tactics with varying levels of success. What do you think of the video? What do you think of those particular tactics? All the links to the tactics are in the description below. If you like the video, please hit the like button for me. It helps me build this channel. And please subscribe for more videos. There'll be a video of every single Premier League team with the same 4 tactics to see how they do. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the bell for notifications for when these next videos come out. Thank you very much. Show your support, and I'd love to know all your comments. Let me know what you think of the tactics. Let me know what you think if you download them and play them. And just, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.